Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Heart and Soul Connected. My name is Allie, and today I'm going to talk to you about science meeting spirituality into a world of wonder. How can that even happen? Wow, let's talk about it. It's wonderfully fascinating to me that many men who have achieved greatness either as professors or as research scientists or doctors, and doctors of the heart, heart doctors or surgeons, never understood the complexity and where science meets spirituality until they undergo their own spiritual experiences. And then when they come out and they talk about those spiritual experiences, a lot of their colleagues will say to them, oh, this is going to ruin you. Why did you do that? Or I don't believe he's a quack. What's wrong? And not. There's a Dr. Eben, E-B-E-N, who had a near-death experience and saw the other side and learned a lot of things about the other side. There's many others that are out there that began their journey as scientists and that have actually come out and spoken about how spirituality is connected to that science. So I don't think everybody's been away and not available to see this, but I think that it's wonderful that we are seeing more and more scientists who see the world through a different lens after they have a spiritual experience. Many people think that science and spirituality are mutually exclusive. They don't complement each other. They don't walk hand in hand in any way. That you can't be a scientist and a spiritual person at the same time. But this is definitely a misconception, as I just indicated. Science is all about exploring the physical world, discovering the laws that govern it, and understanding the mechanisms that work, while spirituality is about exploring the meaning and purpose of life and our place in the universe. Can't we find a way to merge these two perspectives? It's a common perception that if you're a scientist, you must be skeptical of spiritual claims. Well, you should be at the very least, or else you'll be laughed right out of whatever scientific community you belong. If you're spiritual, you must be dismissive also of scientific evidence. I don't think I've ever been skeptical of scientific evidence, quite honestly. So what if both of them are not opposing forces, but complementary ways of understanding the world? They are the two sides of the same coin, each revealing a different aspect of our reality. Well, if you're open-minded and you have growth mindset, then you recognize these things can occur. Absolutely. It reminds me of Darwin when he was laughed at back in Britain around the time that his theory came up of evolution. And there was a huge debate on the stage saying that, we're all just monkeys and what's wrong with you and what's wrong with us and this could never be true. The Bible says yada, 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 and how this all integrated itself into. Now, I know that's religiosity and not necessarily spirituality, but at the same time, it's dismissing the scientific evidence that has occurred. And even today, there are people that still dismiss it because this was done in the 19th century and we're in the 21st century. So 200 something years or more have gone by and we're still dealing with this idea that science and spirituality do not see eye to eye. And I call BS on that. So if we separate these things, the mysteries of consciousness to the interconnectedness of life, or the examples where scientific discoveries align with spiritual beliefs, then we limit ourselves to only seeing part of the information. Quantum physics, for instance, has shown us that the world is a complex web of relationships where everything is connected and interdependent. This is a concept that is also central to many spiritual traditions, about the oneness of all existence and the fundamental principles as well. When we say that neither one can exist without the other, or that it does exist without the other, we're being short-sighted. We're not wearing the lenses. We're not seeing out of both eyes. The study of consciousness is another area where the two connect and converge. Scientists are still trying to understand the nature of consciousness and how it arises from brain activity and what it means to be aware. Meanwhile, spiritual traditions have been exploring these questions for centuries, arriving at insights that are similar to those of modern science. We also have seen things like Kirlian photography that have come up and you can read auras with them. There is proof in the pudding, but is it that we just don't want to accept that because this is something that we have not aligned with for the longest time, and we must be skeptical in order to move forward? I say no. The concept of interconnectedness is a key area of convergence. Science has shown us that we're made up of the same fundamental building blocks, and our bodies are composed of cells, molecules, atoms that are identical to those found in the natural world. Spirituality also teaches us we're all connected, that our individual experience is just a part of the larger web of life. In many indigenous cultures, for instance, the natural world is seen as sacred, interconnected, and a system where every living being has a vital role to play. Modern science has confirmed this insight, revealing that intricate relationships between species, ecosystems, and the planet as a whole are very much connected. By embracing both perspectives, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the world and our place in it. So, what's the key insight that reveals the harmony between science and spirituality? For me, it's the realization that they're not separate entities, but complement each other in our understanding of the world. But we have to be able to be open to those concepts. When we integrate science and spirituality, we gain a more complex picture of our reality, one that's rich in depth and complexity. As we merge and explore the intersection of these two things, we see the world in a completely new light. And we realize the laws of physics are not separate from the laws of nature, but are an expression of the same underlying reality. We start to see the beauty and wonder of the world and find our place in it. In that moment of epiphany, in that aha moment, everything clicks into place. We understand that science and spirituality are not opposed to each other. They're complementary perspectives that reveal the richness and complexity of our existence. And when we see the world in this way, we're filled with a sense of awe and wonder that our lives have been forever changed. So I think that embracing both science and spirituality as mutually beneficial looks at our world and our own parts in it are mutually beneficial for us to integrating those perspectives are helpful in understanding the complexity and the wonder that sits in front of us. I would love you to give me your feedback on this. Dr. Ann and I have done spiritual academics where we kind of look at intellectualism versus spirituality as well. So it isn't just scientists sometimes. It's any other that if they are not convinced by the data and the evidence, if there's any kind of thought of faith about something, they immediately turn their heads away from it and find it to be tomfoolery when you know that is not the way it works. Thank you so very much. You have a beautiful day.